I'm your host, Dr. Amanda, and you are in the right place if you're a growth-minded entrepreneur who's ready to get aligned with your inner power to get what you want in life and business. And what you want is freedom and fulfillment. I know that because you're a human, I'm a human, and every single person I ask when I say, hey, what is it you really, really want? We all go back to freedom and fulfillment. Freedom of choice, freedom to play, freedom to grow, freedom to learn, freedom to love, freedom to laugh, freedom to make money, freedom to travel, all the things, right? And that's really what this podcast is all about. And I'm so incredibly happy to be here with you today on my birthday. It's my 46th birthday. And to me, there wouldn't be a better way to celebrate than to share insights and perspectives with you about lessons that I learned this year about life, love, business, happiness, fulfillment, freedom, all the things that to me as humans and entrepreneurs, we grapple with every single day. It's like, what do I wake up and do in the morning to feel fulfilled? And that is the quest that we're all truly on. The quest to understand ourselves, understand our drives, in the bigger cosmic or spiritual picture, question, where did we come from? Why are we here? And where are we going? And why does it all matter? Like, why do we matter? And why does building a business matter? And why does our life matter? And what is my contribution to the world? And all of those things. These are things that I consider very regularly, and especially on my birthday, when I like to have very ritualistic activities where I do even extra journaling and, typically spend time in nature. I either go on a run or a hike. I love to commune in nature and learn about myself. And so today I want to talk to you about when I sat down to do journaling around my last year of life and business and love and relationships and happiness. What did I learn? And just share it with you because I think these insights are useful for all people who are on the quest of growing. And I know that you're here with me because you are a growth-minded person who cares about building a business and a life that you enjoy. And love is a huge part of that, self-love and relationship interactions and depth and all of those things. So let me dive in. These are the 5 that I came up with that I could probably talk for 2 hours about these topics today. And, in the sake of wanting to not have you take too long with me today, we'll see how I can distill it down into, around 30 minutes. So here we go. Number 1, slow down to speed up. Slow down to speed up. This one was huge for me this year because I came to a place in my business where I was starting to feel stuck and plateaued and not as fulfilled as I used to feel by it. And for me, that is a time to slow down so that you can speed up. And what I mean by that is slow down to reflect and become aware and ask yourself the hard questions. And that is what causes you then to accelerate growth on the next spiral upward curve of yourself. And that slow down time often feels like the downward part of the spiral. So you've heard me talk about the spiral growth curve, that our trajectory of growth and learning and success is not a straight line path. It's a spiral growth curve. And often I think on the down part, when we slow down, it freaks people out, especially entrepreneurs. And I know for me, it has had a tendency to scare me. In the past versions of myself, I've wanted to be going all the time. My old brand NFA, no fucking around, was intense. And, it had to do with intense joy and all of the things, and also like be NFA in your mindset about everything. And I really am. That is still my essence. And it's like, ooh, let's be NFA about play. Let's sit with being still. So one of the practices that I implemented recently was on the weekends has been to just lay on my couch and just lay there and do nothing. And I know this sounds funny because maybe that's not hard for you. I don't know. For me, it's incredibly challenging. I tell myself I'm good at slowing down by, like, let's say meditating or journaling and all the things, but realistically there's like a purpose to it. You know, when you sit down to meditate, you're meditating, and it's productive in a certain way. When I go on a hike, I have a destination, and so it's productive. When I journal, it's me digging into myself in this productive way. And so, you know, I started playing with just slow down, practice slowing down. And so for me, what that looked like was slowing down to doing nothing and just practicing sitting in the discomfort that it would bring up, which is wild. It was like laying here for 10 minutes on the couch and not doing anything makes me feel antsy. And to me, it meant that I need to lean into that more. And I was choosing to lean into it more, and I have been. And so it's been wild to understand how I can teach to people, you know, slow down, get aligned, choose inner power daily. And it's a lifelong practice. And it's going to look a little bit different for everybody, because some people might not have an issue with sitting on the couch and being quiet for 10 minutes. Maybe they have an issue with getting into action. Getting into action has never been an issue for me. And so the challenge for me is to slow down and to be quiet and to just do nothing. And that's my growth edge. And so, you know, this slow down to speed up concept is like, what do you need to do in order to sit with yourself and train yourself to be okay with doing nothing and letting the answers arise? What I find is in those slow down periods, and, you know, when it's on the couch doing nothing, I'm just practicing being. When I'm slowing down to speed up in my business, it could look like journaling. I do a lot of journaling in my periods of slowdown. And so it's self-reflective awareness. It's letting yourself feel. It's noticing how you feel because you're slowing down enough to recognize what's there. And, you know, in another episode, I talked about being on the hamster wheel. This was episode, let's see, oh man, I could have looked this up before, but I did not. The hamster wheel was season 4, episode 3. So if you go back to that episode, I talk a lot about our addiction to being on the go at all points in time, and how when we're on the hamster wheel, we don't slow down enough to see what's going on. And then you just stay on it and you build a prison out of your life and business. So slowing down to speed up causes you to take a break, to self-reflect, and to see what's there and to recognize how you feel, so that you can then be in a place of peace and awareness, so then that you can choose how to navigate the future in a way that will accelerate results. And you know, the intention here is alignment. It's feeling good within, so that you now resonate at a vibrational frequency that is peaceful. So you're creating peace in the now, which creates peace in the future. And so I've really been practicing with this concept of like letting go of being addicted to busy work, and letting go of always being busy and always doing something, and just slowing down, taking deep breaths. Like right now, just take a couple deep breaths and see how you feel. Like just go, and when you do it, you notice like, whoa, I'm really on the go a lot. My mind is going. I'm going. And so this has been a really significant practice for me this year that has changed me from the inside out. I'm so much better now at responsivity versus reactivity. And when the big things come my way, hard, big things, which they do, I can sit with it so differently because I've trained myself to slow down. And the result is that you get speedier results in the outer world because you're in a state of poise and balance in the slowdown. And so, you know, play with this. See for you what it feels like to slow down. You could do this today. You could do this over a course of a week and just slow down. In this time, you could do what I do, like lay on the couch and just breathe and do nothing. You could journal. Journaling is a really powerful slow down tool and self-reflective awareness tool. You could, in these slow down moments, question, how am I feeling right now? Like, how do I feel in my body? How do I feel in my mind? How do I feel in my heart and in my soul? And just check in with yourself. These are things that most people don't take the time to do. And when you do it, you'll notice that there's a lot there. I would also say for me personally, I love going out in nature to slow down. And I've been not running lately. I've been hiking instead of running, which is very new for me as well, which to me is another slow down process. And it's like, oh, I don't need to always be on the go power. It's like, let's just walk in nature. So play with that this week. So slow down to speed up. This has yielded really just, I'd say, heart-centered, growth-filled practice for me, and it's caused my business to transform in ways that I wouldn't have expected, and it's caused me to see things that were and weren't working in my business and in my relationships, in my life, with my happiness, and it has resulted in me being much happier, like at a deeper level, in this state of calm versus like I'm excited, I'm happy in these kind of charged ways. It's more like, oh, I'm at peace. I feel more peaceful. So check it out, try it out and see how it goes. Okay, number 2, be willing to let go of the plan and narrow your focus. Be willing to let go of the plan and narrow your focus. Whew, this is another big one. I have been such a planner for my whole life because I realize that it creates security and safety and comfort, and even if the plan isn't good necessarily, sometimes it feels better than having no plan. And so, and for me, often a plan will include grandiose thinking, or, it's like thinking so big and putting so much on my plate. And that's really been something that I've been breaking down over the last several years. And this year it's been a big focus. Like in the slowdown, I allowed myself to let go of my attachment to my business, my attachment to relationships, my attachment to the way things were done, my attachment to the way I thought I should be and who I even am, who I think I am. I've really been willing to let go of my identity and all the future plans I had made to see what's there and to discover what could be let go of and how it can shift when I let go of the rigidity around my plan. Okay. And this is powerful. When you're willing to let go of the plan, it requires that you trust the universe, and it always looks different than you think. This has blown my mind this year. When I slow down and I journal and I reflect, I often cry, and I just have so much heart energy, and I'll ask the universe for something. For me, this looks like, my relationship with God, or universe is, I call God grand organized design, and it's like collective consciousness, universal truth. It's higher self. It's like being connected with universal love. And when I slow down and I ask the universe for something, so in my journal, I'll write like, dear God or dear universe, and I'll ask for, I'll say, let me be a channel of love and light and bring my gifts to the world and help other people love themselves more and be fulfilled, things like that. And then when I'm breaking through a blind spot or a dark spot or an unconscious belief, I'll ask, please bring me signs to help me get clear on what to do next. Or I'll say, please help me let go of my attachment to the outcome and the timeline. And then what comes always surprises me because it comes in ways that you wouldn't expect and couldn't plan for. And that's why you've got to be willing to let go of the plan, because your plan is not as good as the universe's. Your plan is tainted with all of your ego and all of your impatience and all of your blocks. So if you're willing to let go of it, you're allowing the universe to bring you things better, in a better, more efficient, effective way than you could ever plan for. And I've really seen that this year so many times. And when I say it looks different, it's like, I asked for something recently and the answer came in a way that it felt like in the moment destroying and sad and hard. And it was like, oh, wow. Like, I didn't expect this. This is not how I would have planned this. And so when you sit in that inner power, spiritual place of like, okay, I surrender, I let go, I trust the universe, I trust God, like different things will happen. And I truly believe it's always in the highest good, right? It's your growth, it's other people's growth, it's your business's growth. And sometimes it feels really scary and hard in the middle. Again, it's that spiral. You're at the bottom of the spiral sometimes, and that's when you have the greatest potential to grow. That's it, depending on how you respond to it. And that's when you have the greatest possibility of expanding to the next level of yourself in those quantum leap ways to the higher version of the spiral. And it's a great opportunity if you're willing to sit in it and let go of the plan and be willing to slow down to speed up. And I've really been practicing and playing with this a lot. I when I'm here with you, I'm always bringing you things that I practice and play with, and then I'm going through too. Like, the human condition is freaking raw and real and scary and complex and beautiful and blissful and amazing. And we go through all of the things, and I do too, and so on my birthday I like to self-reflect and go like, what did I learn this year, and what did I really shift, and what's my intention for next year? What do I choose to create in my life, in my business, and in love, and in relationships to create happiness? And when I say happiness, I'm talking about deep fulfillment. And so that's what this is all about. And so if you're willing to let go of the plan, you can bring in things that are more aligned. So when you let go of your plan, I like to say loss is the gain of that which is more aligned. So you're losing the plan to gain alignment in a direction that is more fulfilling to your soul. And so don't be afraid to let go and let things transform and let things breathe and let your identity shift and let the people around you shift. Don't hold people in a stuck space of their past. We're all growing and evolving if we let us all grow and evolve. And so this is for your business too. You will, as you grow and evolve, your business is just an outer reflection of you. And so as you let go and expand, you will grow and evolve. And I add to this, narrow your focus. So I always say narrow your focus to expand your freedom. And why that's so important is because narrowing your focus it reduces overwhelm, and it allows space for new things to come in. So it allows for that loss is the gain of that which is more aligned. The narrowing your focus, it feels like a loss because, like I said, we can be addicted to busyness. We can be addicted to overwhelming our plates and overfilling our lives. And so when you slow down and let go, you're letting go of obligations, of commitments, of things that you thought were the right way. And it feels like a loss, but you are narrowing your focus when you do that. You're narrowing. And for me, one of my very narrow points of focus this year in my journal was, me to be a being of love and light and help the world love themselves more. Help the people I work with love themselves more. It was like, let me be a channel of love and light and bring freedom and lives of fulfillment to the people that I get to work with. And that takes me being that person. I've got to be aligned if I choose to attract people who are wanting that. And so that takes me slowing down. It takes me letting go of my plan. It takes me letting go of the timeline. It takes me narrowing my focus to get really laser focused and clear on the energy that I am in my beingness and who I attract my way. And that is like, that's deep inner power, and it's a practice. Like it's something that I think that people who feel incredibly fulfilled practice daily. It's not like, oh, this awesome life and business and relationship drops in my lap. It's, oh, I attract this through my state of being. And that's what this is all about. That's what I love to play with every single day. And, I'm in the works and you are too. Okay. Number 3, building the right team to fit your genius is critical. So this one's a little more practical, and it's also relational, because if any of you have listened to previous episodes, you'll know that at the beginning of the year, my husband left his C-suite job to come work with me full time. And holy moly, we have been on a journey, and working with your partner is a huge adjustment, and it's an adjustment in your business, and it's an adjustment in yourself, and it's adjustment in your relationship. And it's been so revealing of so many things, and things that surprised me. And so, it's like, it's taken a lot of letting go. It's taken a lot of communication. It's taken a lot of discovery. I'm so grateful for a tool that we found this year called the Working Genius, and I became certified in it because it helped us so much understand ourselves and each other and how to work together and how to work with people, that I use it in my business consulting and coaching all the time now. I've done workshops and I help individuals with it. And the reason that I do that is because it helped me so much figure out who I am in my genius and who he is and how to work together differently through that. And then in this way, when you're building out a team, and when I say the quote unquote right team to fit your genius, it means, who do you need to fill in the gaps of your genius? So in this working genius model, it has your working genius, your competency, and your frustration, similar to the Gay Hendricks zone of genius model, where he has 4 areas, which is your zone of incompetence, your zone of competence, your zone of excellence, and your zone of genius. So it's still very similar overlaps. And I've been playing more and more with distilling and discovering and diving into what that really is for me and figuring out what that really is for my husband, Abe, and then reverse engineering our business from that place. And so for me, it meant in the beginning of the year, I had a VA, and then I actually upped the time and I had a full-time VA. And what I discovered is that I was miserable. I was miserable. I got to the point where I was training her and my husband at the same time and bringing them on, onboarding. And I was like, I hate my business. I got to the point where I literally was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And I really slowed down and considered, what is this about? And then I found the Working Genius and I realized I don't like training people. I cannot stand being a manager. It's a horrible position for me. That is not where I thrive. And I was doing so much of it that it was draining my energy so much, and it was making me so frustrated that I wasn't then having time to do the things I loved and enjoyed, which is things like this. I love creating podcast episodes. I love being on people's podcasts. I love group coaching. I love coaching people. I love doing workshops. I love creating. I'm an innovator and a discerner. So what that means is I get to work with people on finding good solutions to help them in whatever area, which for me is helping them optimize themselves, access their full inner power so they can get what they want. And when I'm doing that, time flies, life feels good, I feel amazing. When I'm training people how to do tasks that are maybe let's say redundant, man, I suffer. And so that was very insightful for me to realize that I had spent a lot of my life in my zones of frustration. As a mother, I spent most of my time not in my genius because, being a mom often is a lot of work. So enablement and support and getting things done, getting your kids into action. And I didn't enjoy those parts of being a mom. Love my kids with all of my heart, but it didn't enjoy the daily grind of it. It made me suicidally depressed to be a stay-at-home mom. I really struggled with it. And I think I beat myself up for years about that because I felt like I'm a bad parent. I'm a bad mom. What is wrong with me that I don't love this? And in this year has been a big year of me loving myself through that. Wow, it's bringing up a lot of emotion. It's so interesting. Whew. I don't like to use the word forgiveness because I think everything happens perfectly and it's for your growth. So it's loving myself and understanding myself has helped me to shine my light in different ways and be so much more present with the people in my lives, love them fully in different ways. And this has to do with, when you think about this as building a team, it's your business is a family. Whoever you attract into your business to work with you becomes a family. And this goes for your family as well. Whatever your family structure is, it's loving each person as individuals and holding them in a space of their highest good and doing that for yourself at the same time is a quest. And it takes conscious attention and intention. And that's love and that's care. And it takes a lot of communication, a lot of communication. I mean, this year I would say that I have grown so much in communication and doing the hard stuff of cutting people out. I fired my VA, and when I say fired, she wasn't doing anything wrong. It wasn't a good fit for me. And I realized I don't enjoy having a team like this. I got to figure out a different way. And luckily for me, My husband is and I work really well together. Our geniuses are the exact opposite. And so he does the things that I don't enjoy to do, and I do the things that he couldn't do. And he does, like, he could. He's capable of it. He just wouldn't enjoy it, right? It's not his genius. And so it's worked out really beautifully when I let go of all of my thoughts about who he was as a working man in the world, and I let him do his genius. It has been such a beautiful gift, and it took months. We're in July, right? Like today's July 19th. He left his job in January. His last day was February 3rd, and then we started working together. And so it hasn't been that long, but it took a while because him and I are very close and we talk a lot. And so even with that, it took several months to figure this out. And so, this again is that quest of like reverse engineer from your genius and know who is the best fit and start to play with discovering that. Get help if you need it. I'm definitely a person who can help you with that. Like figure out who's the best fit for your team and how to delegate in ways that cause you to be in your genius, because otherwise you build resentment, anger, frustration, and obviously you're not going to thrive in your business or your life if you feel that way. Money is not going to flow in when you feel resentful and frustrated in your business. Love is not going to flow between you and the people in your lives if you feel stuck and frustrated and resentful about your life and what you're doing every day. So building the right team to fit your genius is critical. And it's a reverse engineer task, and it's a discovery process, and it's a being willing to let things go that you thought would work that don't, and just play with it. And, it's like, yeah, play with this. All of these are about playing. I've been debating about what to call everyone here. Like I like to name tribes so we can get like this tribal identity, and I'm like, okay, it's inner power entrepreneurs for sure. I've been thinking power players. Like I want to be people who play with our power, learn how to access our power, learn how to be playful with power, and know that power is your light source. It's your connection to God. It's your connection to your zone of genius. It's your connection to your highest callings. Like, let's be power players, right? Like, I don't know where it will go, but that popped into my mind in the last few days because I've been along this theme of playfulness a lot. So, okay, number 4, and I'll recap all of them at the end. Number 4, look at your ROI to know what to drop or add. This was a huge lesson for me this year because I let myself not look at my numbers. It was a year of slowing down to speed up and kind of breaking up old habits and patterns that I had of intense rigidity around things, I would say. And so when I was letting go of the plan and slowing down, I stopped looking at my numbers intentionally. I let it go a little too long. And when I did my numbers for taxes, I realized that I was not at all where I would have expected. I mean, I had some gauge on where I was, and it was different than I thought. And when I looked at my ROI on things that I was doing in the world, I realized that, I need to adjust. I need to make some serious adjustments. So if you're doing that on a more consistent basis, then you have more insight and perspective about what to adjust. And so this is really powerful. I definitely know that entrepreneurs who make 7 and 8, 9 figures, they're looking at their numbers very regularly, typically. And it's a relationship with your business, right? So it's a relationship with your money, and it's a relationship with your business. And it's also a tool to help you understand where to focus your energy. If you think about the 80-20 rule, 80% of our results come from 20% of our efforts. So when you look at your ROI, you can determine what the 20% of the efforts are and where the 80% of the results are by going, this offer is making this amount and this offer is making this amount. Where can I decide to focus my energy based on that information? So it's really an insight and perspective tool. And it's also a way to strengthen your relationship to money. It's a way to be in constant connection and constant relationship with your money, which what you appreciates. And so don't be afraid to look at your numbers. And if you are, know that you have some unconscious money blocks. And so for me, this year, while it was somewhat intentional at first, it started to turn into fear. And I didn't want to look because I knew that I wasn't sure. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to break six figures this year. And that freaked me out. I was like, oh my God, I've always broken six figures since the day I started, since my first year of business, I've broken six figures, and I haven't really thought about it that much. I've been on my way to seven figures, which was a big thing I let go of this year as well, was like, okay, sure, that could happen at some point, but I'm not freaking out about it anymore. And I chose to sit with, is that even my goal? And why is that my goal? Like, what does that mean to me? And is this an ego thing, or what is this? And so when I stopped looking at the numbers, it was all entangled with all of those things. And so I intentionally stopped, but then I got scared and stopped looking because I was avoiding. And that was interesting for me. It was like, I'm a freaking money coach. And I'm avoiding looking at my numbers. It was like comical. I was like, okay. And then that got, triggered some imposter syndrome. And it was like, wow, this is big stuff. Like, whew, okay. So then I looked at my numbers, and here I am today going, okay, now I look at my numbers every week, and I have money dates with my honey, and we are very clear about directions in the future based on looking at our ROI. So it's shifted, and it's important. And if you're stuck there, I get it, and get some help. And if you're not willing to look at your numbers, or you don't know how to do that, like, get some help. I can definitely help you. Reach out. And also know that even people in my position who teach this stuff, live this stuff, sometimes get stuck too. And so it's okay to get stuck. Just remember to start getting unstuck so that you can shift your profits, right? And shift your ROI so that you're spending the most time on the most powerful, impactful things. So going back to that conceptualization of work less, make more, have fun. You got to look at your numbers to do that, because you've got to know where you're most productive, where your highest return on investment is. And to me, ROI is all about, am I getting the most joy with the least effort with the most rewards, right? Like, and the most profits. So look at your ROI to know what to drop or add. Okay. Number 5. This one's really, I would say this is, I'm probably going to cry, because to me, this is like the gold mine. Play more and follow your heart. Play more and follow your heart. Like, this was such a year of me learning how to love myself more, and doing deep inner child work, and slowing down to notice my pains and my fears and my doubts, and sitting in the shit of life and being willing to do it, and being willing to feel my feelings about it. And that has led to so much more playfulness, because I'm not carrying around this bag of BS that was pulling me down. And it's complex, it's like every time I think I get to a place where I'm like, I got this figured out, and something happens to show me that I don't. And I'm like, oh yeah, spiral growth curve. All right, here's the next evolution of myself that I wasn't expecting, and I'm also thankful for. And so this is a big one. It's like, love yourself more. If you get only this takeaway today, love yourself more. And I know that sounds so cliche and also so hard. It's like, what does that even mean? To me, what that means is just do something today that feels nurturing to yourself in a playful way with intention, right? So it could be cooking something. It could be slowing down to paint your nails. It could be, I guess guys probably don't slow down to paint their nails, so that might be a lady thing. I don't know. I actually do have guy friends that paint their nails, so it could be that. Could be going on a bike ride. It could be calling your kids. It could be, there are so many ways. Just what you want to ask yourself is like, what brings me the most joy? And do more of that. Play more. And when I say follow your heart, you got to listen to your emotions. Your emotions are your feedback system for your vibrational frequency and how you're actually doing. So however you feel is what you're going to keep attracting into your life. And so you got to pay attention to that. And to your best of your capabilities, you want to be building your business from your zone of genius. You want to be creating relationships from your zone of genius, from your values, from your love, from your center of light, from your power, right? When you do that, life unfolds and reflects back to you in a beautiful way. And this is like you following your heart, following your intuition, feeling your way to decisions instead of thinking your way to decisions. And when I say that we could have, probably a whole week workshop on this, because it's not following your emotions to make decisions in a volatile way. It's tapping into understanding your feelings so that you can have them be your guide, so you know where to make adjustments. And if you are feeling shame and fear and doubt and guilt, you're going to make some imbalanced decisions because you're wanting to make decisions that fill the void and soothe you. And remembering that we're animals and we live by the pleasure pain principle, when you make a decision from a place of void and negativity and lack and scarcity and stuckness, it is an impossibility that you're going to get an awesome outcome, because you're making a decision from a place that's going to attract to you lessons to help you get unstuck from that place. So this is why I create what I create in the world: Inner Power Daily tips, tools, strategies. Everything I've created through every version of my business and every era of podcast is all about that, getting to the core of yourself, to love yourself more and be in tune with yourself, so that you can decide with certainty, clarity, and love what to create in the world. And that magnetic force attracts people to you because it's such clean energy. It's such conscious energy. It's such high vibe energy, right? And so everything you can possibly do to play in a higher vibrational frequency is the quest of life, I think. And so, this practically looks like, in the simplest way, doing more things you enjoy, being willing to sit in discomfort of hard truths, hard feelings that you're having, so that you can break through them, transform them, communicate about them, so that you can keep growing and evolving. And it requires self-love and other love. This requires holding space for yourself and holding space for others. This requires being attached to your business while also being detached from your business. It's caring about your business. It's what we talked about in the last episode number 5, is how to detach and care at the same time. That is no joke. Like, I'm talking about serious spiritual growth work today. Like, this is my heart and my soul. So on my 46th birthday, I was like, okay, I'm going in and I'm going like with my heart and my soul, and how I really process my life, and how I decide what I bring to you, and how I navigate my day and my relationships. And like, this is big stuff. And it's wild for me to say to you, because I don't know that I thought of myself as such a spiritual person and becoming. When I grew up, I was a fundamentalist Christian, but that was very religious and very heady. I didn't tap into my heart in that era of my life so much. And I had a lot of hard things happen in my life. Oops. And so I closed my heart down a lot. Like, and now that I'm opening up my heart more, I cry all the time. And I'm in this current moment facing big shit that I've created in the past with people in my life where I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And I did my best, and it hurts them and me. And I get to own responsibility for all of that. And it's wild to have in this number 5, play more and follow your heart. You can't get to the play more until you break through your bullshit and face yourself and become 100% radically responsible. Like, that's everything I'm about. And I haven't always done it eloquently, and I don't always know what I'm doing, and I make mistakes, and I'm a human. And the play more and follow your heart is love yourself through all of this. It's okay that you have messed up in the past. It's okay that you're going to mess up in the future. It's okay that you're a human and you're not perfect. It's okay wherever you're at and whatever you're experiencing, it's okay. And I highly recommend, and this is what I have learned, that you do whatever you possibly can to love yourself fully, so that you can love the people in your life fully, and so that you can be a model and a force for that in the world. We need more love in the world. Like, wow, we need more love in the world. And it's like be a beacon of that in your business, in your marriage, in your partnerships, in your friendships, in your parenting, in your everything, with your animals. Like, be a being of light and love. And to do that, it takes daily practice. Like, this is a lifelong journey. And I love, love, love being an entrepreneur because it is a playground for growth. It brings up everything possible: your doubts, your fears, your guilt, your uncertainty, your money blocks, your ego, my God, it brings up everything. And so to me, being an entrepreneur is a spiritual growth path. Parenthood is a spiritual growth path. Marriage and relationships or partnership is a spiritual growth path. Your relationship with yourself is a spiritual growth path, but you don't, from my perspective, you don't learn as quickly when you're not relating with people, because the people you draw into your life will bring up your shadow parts. They are the outer representation of your projected parts, and however they're showing up is a reflection of your inner world that is calling to be processed and seen and brought to light. And then when you get through your wounds and you get through the trauma, you get to start to just feel so much love. And love, to me, is the way. It's like, love your business, love your life, love yourself, love the people, love in this pure way of seeing all sides, being playful, following your intuition, being like a kid. It's like going back to being a kid. And like, I don't know, I didn't have a super playful childhood. So when I say that, it's kind of interesting, but if you had a playful childhood, it's going back to the kid energy of like creativity and exploration and wonder and connection and thinking everything is possible and believing it and knowing it, right? Like, get back to that place. And if you never had it, cultivate it now. That's what I do, right? I cultivate it now. And I love my parents. They did the best they knew how to do. I didn't have a playful child at all. It didn't feel playful. And so I get to figure that out now. And I chose the right parents at the right time to figure my stuff out. And I'm grateful for that. Like, I don't beat my parents up for it. Like, they did their best. And however you feel about your parents, it's okay. Choose from today forward to grow, understand, love, and, don't be a victim of your history, be a master of your destiny. Dr. John DeMartini says that. I love that quote. You can never be you'll always be a victim of your history if you're not a master of your destiny. Be a master of your destiny requires you letting go of being a victim of your history. And so whenever you're doing this work, it doesn't mean you don't need to heal things from the past with the people in your lives. It means let it evolve and communicate and grow. If you're not, if you're strange, you're not going to do that. You can do that work with yourself. So it's like, I know that was a little bit of a sidetrack from playing, but you can't get to the playfulness unless you get rid of the baggage. And the baggage is what's holding you back in every area. Your stuff from childhood is causing unconscious blocks today. And so to get to the other side and to get to the most empowered version of yourself, you got to break through that stuff. If you're holding on to stuff from the past, you can never become a master of your future. And you can't even design your future consciously because you're holding on to unconscious blocks from the past. It's going to affect your money. It's going to affect your business. It's going to affect your relationships. And it's definitely going to affect your happiness. And so hang out with me, come work with me. These are the things that I do. Obviously, I have practical action steps for entrepreneurs. First and foremost, we work on your inner being and help you cultivate inner power so that you can discover for yourself, and you become the coach of your life. You lead yourself to discovery. I just give you the tools to start to open up to those possibilities. So, woo. Okay, I went longer than I said I would. I didn't look at the time this whole time. I just came from my heart. So here's where we are. I'm going to recap. So the top 5 lessons I've learned about life, love, business, and happiness between my birthday last year and this year on my 46th birthday. Number 1, slow down to speed up. Number 2, be willing to let go of the plan and narrow your focus. Number 3, building the right team to fit your genius is critical. Number 4, look at your ROI to know what to drop or add. And number 5, play more and follow your heart. I especially today wish that you were with me so we could give each other giant, giant hugs and just share love and power, like the power of love. Share the power of love. Be awesome today. Love your life today. Love yourself today. And until next time, I am sending you the biggest hugs and inner power high fives.